could a common pain reliever hold the key to a controversial health debate? Recent headlines suggest that Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the U.S. Health Secretary, is poised to drop a bombshell, a potential link between Tylenol use during pregnancy and autism. But here's where it gets controversial. The science isn't settled, and the implications could shake both medical communities and everyday parents. Let's break down what's at stake and why this story isn't just about a drug, but about trust in science, corporate responsibility, and the future of prenatal care. According to reports in the Wall Street Journal and other outlets, Kennedy's team at the Department of Health and Human Services plans to release a report connecting acetaminophen, Tylenol's active ingredient, to autism. The study will also propose that a folate-based treatment might help alleviate symptoms of developmental disorders. But wait! Folate deficiency is already a known risk factor for autism. So is this a new angle or a reinterpretation of existing data? And this is the part most people miss. The report hinges on the idea that Tylenol interferes with folate absorption, not just that the drug is used alongside folate deficiencies. Could this be the missing piece in a decades-old puzzle? Now, let's zoom out. Where is Tylenol actually made? The brand, now owned by Kenvue, a spin-off from Johnson & Johnson in 2023, has a sprawling global footprint. The Fort Washington plant in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, is a major hub, employing around 10% of Kenvue's 20,000 global workforce. Another Pennsylvania facility in Lancaster, plus sites in Puerto Rico and Canada, handle large-scale production. But here's a twist. While the final product is stamped with Made in the USA, key raw materials often come from countries like China and Israel. This raises questions about supply chain transparency, something critics have long argued needs stricter oversight. The controversy deepens when you consider the history of Tylenol. Once a Johnson & Johnson household name, its consumer division was carved out into Kenvue, a move that some see as a strategic pivot to focus on profitability over public health. With Kenvue now in charge, does that shift corporate priorities? And if the report claims a link between Tylenol and autism, will the company face a crisis of trust? But let's not forget the science. While RFK Jr.'s report is generating buzz, there's no established consensus that Tylenol causes autism. Studies have shown mixed results, with some suggesting a correlation, but not causation. For example, a 2020 meta-analysis in JAMA Pediatrics found a slight increase in autism risk among children whose mothers used acetaminophen during pregnancy. But the study's authors stressed that other factors, like underlying inflammation or genetic predisposition, could explain the link. So is this report a breakthrough, or is it cherry-picking data to fit a narrative? And this is the part that's sparking the most debate. If folate-based treatments are effective, why isn't this already standard prenatal care? Could the pharmaceutical industry's focus on blockbuster drugs like Tylenol be sidelining simpler, cheaper solutions? Or is this a case of overhyping preliminary findings to drive policy changes? Here's the bigger question. Should pregnant women stop taking Tylenol? The answer isn't simple. Acetaminophen is often the go-to medication for pain and fever during pregnancy because it's generally considered safer than alternatives like ibuprofen. But if the report gains traction, it could force a reevaluation of guidelines and create panic among expectant mothers. So, where does this leave us? The Tylenol autism debate isn't just about a drug or a company. It's about how we balance risk, trust science, and hold corporations accountable. Do you think this report will change the conversation around prenatal care? Or is it another example of science being weaponized for political or corporate gain? Share your thoughts in the comments below, because this one's far from settled.